Okay, so earlier today, from the house sitting position, I did a video about martial arts and about weapons and whatnot, and how bringing a weapon to a fight could be your undoing. All right, now a lot of y'all aren't going to agree with that, so I'm here to continue that talk and that lesson on why the most important weapon that you have is your body. I will not be doing any weapons tonight. I will only be doing demonstrations and talking points. Hopefully, I will open up your eyes so that you guys can understand what I was saying in the early video and the live. Now, this won't be a live video, maybe 40 minutes at best. Probably more talking than demonstrating. I mean, when you don't have a partner, it's kind of hard to show people what you want to show them when you don't have a training partner or someone who's brave enough to come and work with you so that you can show people what will work, what won't work, and how it will work and how it won't work with resistance. All right, a lot of things that we do with resistance with our partners, it generally works because we've worked that shit out. And we also know how strong our partners are, so they're going to give just enough or just what we ask for to make that shit work or not work. Now, understand, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. When you encounter people that you do not know, their strength level is going to be magnified by adrenaline. The fact that you don't know them means you don't know how hard you're going to have to hit them to stop them. All right? So in the earlier video I spoke, if I brought a weapon to a fight and you take it from me and you beat my ass with it, that's my fault. Because it is. The only weapon that you should bring to a fight is your skill set. Period. With your hands, fist, elbows, forearms, knees, and feet. Alright? Now understand that I'm telling you this shit because it's the truth. I'm not telling you this shit for clout and all that other crap. You're going to fuck around and find out when you go into battle mode. And before I end this video, I will be talking about how much I hate belts. Alright? And how belts, they're okay, but they still give you a false sense of help or a hope. When you leave that dojo, that's where that belt has no meaning whatsoever. And a lot of people who take martial arts don't understand that concept of, yeah, I'm a black belt. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are a black belt in every dojo in which you step in. Not when you step in the streets. When you step in the streets, you're just another average Joe who has training. That's it. Do you like what I'm saying? Probably not. There's going to be a fuck ton of martial artists coming at me for that shit, but that's because they don't dawn on the reality of, yeah, you beat 6 dudes that were black belts before you in your dojo. You might have just been having a good fucking day. Yeah, but a lot of people don't factor luck in the fights. A lot of people don't factor skill in the fights, and they just like, well, I can beat everybody. Okay. 29-year-old Echo Fang Grey Wolf would have said, yeah, I can beat everybody. But 29-year-old Echo Fang Grey Wolf was a different breed of person, and I'm still a Generation X. And what I mean by that is, I know something that most people don't know. I can beat everybody. You know why? Because I don't have to beat you to kill you. That is the difference maker with having a black belt and knowing that you have a black belt versus someone who's been fighting since they were a fucking child. You have a black belt all day. That just means you put that time in, you put that work in, and I respect that shit. But when you get out in the street, humble yourself. Because you may have a black belt, but you may come against somebody who's been fighting longer than you've been breathing. And every day they wake up, they've had to fight. Every time they leave their house, they've had to fight. Because they're short, because they're mixed, because of some reason that somebody just don't fucking like you. So when you get to where you gotta fight when you go home from school, or you gotta fight to go to school, you get back with me on that. Because people from West Haven know, sometimes you just gotta fucking fight. And yes, it gets harder and harder day by day to resist the urge to punch people in the mouth. See, this is where the black belt comes in and it says, you must humble yourself, grasshopper, because 1 without 1 equals 0. That was a fucked up ass math equation, but basically what it means is you have good and you have evil, and you have to find that balance. Therefore, you have to humble yourself. See how quickly I recovered from that? Now let's get back to the lesson at hand. Alright, so you bring a weapon to a fight. Regardless of the weapon, understand that if you don't have the skill to have that weapon, then you probably shouldn't have brought it to a fight. If you are coming against someone who knows how to disarm you without taking your arm completely off, you have given them the advantage that they need to beat your life. And by saying that, if I take a knife, there's only so many ways I can stab you. I can stab you this way, I can stab you that way. I can cut you, I can cut you. Same thing with a sword. However many ways my wrist turn is how many ways that I can stab or cut you. If I come up, this block. If I come to the side, that block or that block, depending on what side. If I come low, that block. I understand that I have a knife. I understand that even if you block me, there's a high probability that you will get cut. It's the same thing if I had a firearm. There's a high probability that you will get shot. So if I show up with a gun and you show up with nothing, just give me what I asked for and we'll both walk away with this thing dolphin smooth. But if you get stupid and say, well, I got a black belt, I'm going to go for it. I'm scared. I have the gun. Usually people who have guns are generally scared. Now, if you've been trained with the gun, you're probably not scared. However, people are unpredictable. So, I got the gun, you got the black belt, and you decide, hey, I'm a Steven Seagal this motherfucker. You step at me, boom, you die. All you had to do is just give me the fucking wallet. You can replace that money. You can cancel your credit cards. Do smart stuff with your life. Yeah, you got a black belt. I got this Navy Army belt. And I wasn't in the Navy, but this is an Army belt. But I'm pretty sure the Navy probably made it. But, you know, that's a joke. This belt, it don't take much for that shit to come off. Alright? But I'm now going to use this belt against the guy with the fucking handgun. That is really fucking stupid. And you could fucking get killed. So, no. He has a gun. Give him what he wants. You can work out the minutia. You're not a coward if you give him your shit. You just, you're alive. That's what you are. So sometimes you just got to give up your shit. Now, if he's not armed and he's coming at you and he's looking for a fight, now to each his own and may the best man win. See the difference maker in that? Knowing that he's not armed makes the fight at least somewhat fair. Unless you can't fight. Then the fight's not that fair, but that does not mean you are going to lose. It just means you gotta work. You gotta learn. Now, earlier in the other video, I talked about how to evade and get to the side and break shit. We're gonna rehash that, but I'm going to also emphasize Kung Fu, Karate, and Taekwondo because those are the three things that people tend to want to learn the most. Also, possibly Capoeira, possibly BJJ. Alright, so if you're going to do BJJ, first and foremost, you got to get me to the ground. That's the hard part. After getting me to the ground, my ass is pretty much yours. Because I suck at BJJ. Simple as that. Keep that shit real. I personally suck at BJJ. I understand. All the drill sergeants can tell you, yeah, Echo sucked at BJJ. He's just horrible at BJJ. Taekwondo, I got a fighting chance. We don't have to go to the ground because we're both snapping and snapping back. So, you know, we know how this shit's going to work. Kung Fu, if you throw a jab, I have options. If I block this way, I'm going to step back. So I'll step back and block versus stepping in, which would be karate. Because, as I said in the other video, you throw in a jab. I block it and try to punch. You still have a left hand, a right leg, and a left leg that you can utilize to stop me when I step in to punch. So if I block and I step in, kick to the groin, punch to the face, you just put me in my place. So from the other side, that would be you blocked, kick to the groin, and then you punch me in the face. All right, because once you kick me in the groin, I'm going down. So it would have just been like a knuckle punch down. You know, wouldn't be that fucking difficult to successfully do. Now, on the other hand, if I block and go to the outside, and you're over here, I have control of your arm. Snap, it's broken, boom, hit you in the throat, you can't breathe, you can't hurt me. Or, since it's on the right side, liver, kidney, ribs, down in this area. So it would have been on the right, you threw a right, so this gets broken. This is pulled, this gets pushed, then you hit any one of these spots, or in the throat, or in the face. Those are your primary targets because boom, break, boom. You know, boom, break, boom. Yeah, you're going to hit something that's going to be useful to you. You're not going to want to continue this fucking fight because you want to end this shit as quickly as possible. And I say this in all my fucking videos when it comes to fighting. Fight time in movies, it's not real. Fight times in UFC, fight times in wrestling, those are real. But those like wrestling, the athletes know how long they're supposed to be in the ring. In the UFC, you punch until you can't. Somebody's going to go to sleep. That's it. You have rules where you can't hit them in the nuts. You're not supposed to poke them in the eye. Lots of those bastards have cheated and poked people in the eyes to get that W. Y'all know who the fuck they are. You watch them on replays all the time. Those guys are complaining, yeah, that motherfucker hit me in the eye. Yeah, when they throw them things and you know the gloves are so fat you can't see when they thumb a motherfucker in the eye. And those guys don't really have any honor. If you're thumbing people in the eye to take the W, you don't have any honor. You're probably really not that good of a fighter. You just try to get the W as fast as you can. You're still going to get paid. Win, lose, or draw. The UFC has to pay you. You are their athlete. That's why they fucking have contracts. So even if you lose, you're still going to collect that purse. You don't have to thumb somebody in the eye to prove that you can fight a little bit. You know? If you can't beat the guy, you can't beat the guy. That's some shit that you got to accept. That's some shit I got to accept. If I can't beat you, I'm just going to take that ass whooping. Am I going to like it? Fuck no. Because nobody wants to be on the other end of an ass whooping. But at that same time, now if we in the streets, it ain't going to matter if I can fight a little bit or if I can fight a lot. In the streets, there's no such thing as rules. So if I gouge your motherfucking eye out, you should have expected that because we're in the motherfucking streets. And this is the thing you got to understand. When you are in a sporting event, you are in a UFC, you're in the WWE, you are in whatever sporting event there is, there are rules that you are to follow. You are not allowed to use lethal ordnance in a fucking UFC setting or in a wrestling setting. You're not allowed to do that. You're allowed kicks and punches and shit. You allow basic strikes and stuff, but you're not allowed. Let me kick this motherfucker's sternum inside out. You know, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna kick just at the belly button, just enough to make them bend over, and then you're gonna go to the DDT. Where if you're in the UFC, boom, one to the face, boom, boom, two to the body, back to the head, and then if they ain't going down, when they start rocking this way, boom, you'll figure out your fight pattern when you have it. However, be willing to change your fight pattern at the drop of a hat. When I didn't have my hip replacement, my main go-to combo was left, right, left, boom, and then back, because it's a whole lot easier for me to do that versus left, right, left. And you see how I went? If I miss this kick, and you're down here and you sweep my foot, I'm never gonna make it this far because I'm gonna be on my back. And I mentioned that earlier in the other video, which I'm not sure it's posted. It's probably not because I had some technical issues earlier today. But I will repost them on my YouTube channel, Kung Fu Havoc #2. But here's the thing. I'm going for this kick. And you decide, boom, to kick my kick. Now, if you connect to my kick, my balance is going to be way the fuck off. From that kick, boom, you can just come right on across. Or you can throw a jab, because although my guard's up and I went for this kick, and you decide, boom, you're going to kick my kick out, there's a good chance that your kick's going to catch me. It could be you could just block the itch, boom, with that out knee back. So it just depends. Now earlier also in the video I talked about when you watch fights, you notice they never hit them in the front of the leg. They always go for the meat. Because if they go for the meat, it's a less chance of you permanently damaging your fucking opponent. Now in the streets, fuck that shit. If you're coming at me, boom, sternum, boom, low kick, kneecap, boom, boom, low knee, high knee. I'm going for whatever the fuck I take to put your ass down for the fucking count. It's just that simple. If you're running at me, boom. If that doesn't stop you, I got problems. If that doesn't slow you down, we're both going to be going back this way, which means I got problems. I don't want problems. Now, if I can get clear enough away, I can step back and get into position again. Now, say you're running at me, boom, my momentum, your momentum, where I hit you is going to be very important. Am I going to see where I hit you? Probably not. Am I going to give a shit? No, because we're fighting, and I have one mission: survival at all costs. Now, back on the weapon concept. Any weapon that you bring is a weapon that can be taken from you at any time. If you're a novice, or you just train just to train but not to do anything with it other than to stay healthy, you got to understand shit, and you got to understand it now. Don't bring those weapons that you train with to a fight, because you're training just to train, you're training just to stay healthy. You are effective with that weapon, no doubt, but when you've never been in an actual fight with a weapon, things get sticky. Alright? And now I say that because I've never been in a fight with a martial art weapon. I've trained with them. But I have been in a fight with a motherfucking stick, an iron pipe, and a 2x4. And one of them once had a nail in it. So, trust me when I tell you, also broken pop bottle. Fights are different with weapons. Fights are more dangerous with weapons. You can lose a fight faster with a weapon than you can with your hands and your feet. Alright? You can lose a fight even worser if you're the one that bought the weapon but doesn't know how to use it. I am not good with a 3-section stab. There's no way in hell I'm going to take a 3-section stab to a fight. I'm okay with that shit, but I know what can happen if I fucking miss or if I fuck up. And the one thing I want anybody who does martial arts to understand, I'm not saying this shit to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not saying this shit to base on people. I'm saying this shit because the reality of the simple fact is this. Even the best of the best can fuck up and get their ass kicked. It can happen. This is a convenient weapon. It is a Gatorade bottle. It's thick plastic. Really good hit here, good hit here, your fight's done. So if I don't have a weapon and you have a weapon and I block and strike, my strike's right here or right there. I'm not going upside your head. Plastic. It's loaded with Gatorade, but I'm going to hit you somewhere where I know it's going to count. I might hit you in the face and piss you the fuck off. But I've hit you where you breathe. If I hit you somewhere that's going to do some damage, you ain't getting up. Boom, boom. I blocked your weapon and I struck. I blocked your weapon and I struck. My primary target, sternum, throat. Why? Because I know those are going to slow you the fuck down. I might go upside your head, might do nothing to you, might piss you the fuck off. Worse than that, I might go upside your head and you got a glass jaw, you go to sleep. If you got a steel jaw, I done fucked up. If you've been taking hits in the jaw your goddamn life, you ain't gonna feel that shit from some little punk ass motherfucker like me. So I gotta make sure when I hit you with bad intentions in perfect spots. Sternum, throat. Because here's where shit gets sticky. It don't matter how good you are. It don't matter what belt you have. If you can't breathe, you can't hurt me. And I don't give a flying fuck who doesn't like what I'm saying. Get hit in the bread basket right smack dead where you take a drink. It should stop somewhere in here. Get hit right there. If you want to feel that shit intentionally, get hit right there. It ain't even got to be a hard hit. Just get hit right there. In fact, do this. So you know where it stops. And where it stops, make sure that you never get hit there while you're in actual fighting mode. Because you will understand two things. That shit's gonna suck. And there is a big ass bug on my screen. You gotta go, fella. I don't like bugs, y'all. I'm sorry. And hopefully that one will recover. The thing you gotta understand is all fights are going to be different. All fights are situational. And you can be on the winning side or the losing side, depending on your skill set. This is why, before I end the video, we're going to talk about belts now. Because I'm about to end the live and I'm about to end the video. I don't care what your belt ranking structure is in your school. I don't care about that shit. You need to understand something. Alright? If you're training at BJJ, you already know I'm about to say gi or no gi and how that belt can be used to tie a motherfucker up while they're on top of you and mounting and all that shit. You can use your belt in gi or no gi shit. Mostly in gi. And I know I'm going to get my ass whooped. So I'll be tapping really fucking quick when you bend my thumb back. So we're just going to get that out of the way. I'm going to lose in BJJ. I could be fooling y'all, but I'm not. I suck at BJJ, which is why I don't like that shit. Which is why I've been working on many, many counters in case I can't sprawl. Because, you know, BJJ, you sprawl. Well, if I don't get the sprawl, boom, I'm going to throw a knee. Because I won't be able to stop you otherwise. I'm going to throw a knee and I'm going to throw an elbow. It ain't going to matter which side it's coming from. I'm going to throw one or the other. I'm hoping that the knee stops you. If the knee doesn't stop you, the elbow damn sure will, because I'm hitting you in your fucking spine. It's illegal? Ask me if I give a fuck. I do not. Because here's that thing about fighting in the dojo. In the dojo, I'm going to be respectful of the rules. In the street, there are no fucking rules. There's survivors. That's it. We both might be leaking before it's over with, but I guarantee you ain't getting me on that motherfucking ground where your BJJ will be supreme. Fuck that shit. We're out in the streets and you're a BJJ or a wrestler, I'm not playing with you. Yeah, I can't out-muscle your shit, but I know if I go to the ground, I want my leg perfectly placed between your two legs, because when you slam me, my leg's going into your nutsack. So when you hit like this because you slammed me because you thought you was a badass, after you over like this, oh, there's no mercy for you, because you laying right on top of me. I'm just going to roll your ass over, and then I'm going to thump your shit inside out. I'm not going to stop until I see blood, or you turn a different color. I may put your ass in the guillotine choke while you laying on top of me. Yes, I can put you in a choke from up here on the shoulders. It's not a guillotine, but it will get me to the point where I can change it over. And plus, you're going to be hurting so bad by getting kneed in the nuts that you're not going to realize what the fuck just happened. I understand how fights work. Fights work on the principle of two people hitting each other, and whichever one can take the most of the beating is probably going to be the one on top of the shit. Unless you really can't take a beating, then you're going to fuck to sleep. Now, we're doing Taekwondo, and we're both doing this leg bullshit. Eventually, I'm going to get a hold of that shit, and I'm going to get pissed. So I'm like, grab your leg, snap that bitch, and then I'm going to fuck your shit up. Alright? I'm all about breaking people's shit because I'm old, and I can't be playing with you. So I'm going to tell you this. I'm breaking an elbow, I'm breaking a knee. You will never want to come back and fuck with me when I'm done. When you get out of fucking therapy for fucking getting your shit fixed so that your hand can work again, you're going to be like, I'm not going to fuck with that little guy. Period. Which is also another thing. Size does not matter to me. Everybody's going to come at me for that, so I'm going to put it out there real. I was in the Army, dude. There's people smaller than me in the Army that will fuck your shit up. Alright? I'm a small dude. If I'm fighting you, I'm not fighting you to beat your ass. I'm fighting you to unalive your shit, and we're calling it a fucking day. Period. I am too tiny to be taking all kinds of ass whoopings. So I'm fixing to do damage to you on unhensible levels. Or I'm going to do enough quantifiable levels of damage to your shit that when you wake up the next day, you're going to be like, what the fuck hit me? Now, let's get on belts so I can end this live. I'm going to say this with respect and honor. If you've earned your belt, that's great. If you have a black belt, that's great. Doesn't matter what level, first level, seventh level, however many levels they go. I want you to understand where I'm coming from before the next things come out my mouth, so let me apologize, because I'm going to offend the fuck out of everybody who has a black belt. I have a policy in life, especially when it comes to martial arts. 70-30. Because 70% of the shit that you learn in that dojo will only work in the dojo. 30% of that shit you work in the dojo will work in the streets. Which is why I always say basics save lives. If you think you're going to do fancy shit to fuck somebody up, you're watching too much TV. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're doing a jump and spin kick and I'm short, boom, I'm hitting you in the balls. I'm going to let you land because I hit you in the balls. No, if you're doing one of these kicks and I can get under with a foot sweep, I'm going to let you hit the ground. I'm not going to stop you because I'm going to sweep your fucking foot. If I can get in and sweep your foot while you're doing one of these, I'm going to sweep your foot. Basics. If you're going to do one of these, I'm just going to get out the way. Boom. Ridge hand. Basics. 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 You're doing all that fancy shit. You're doing the 440 spin or the 550 spin or the 600 and whatever the fuck spin. Hey, you're never going to use that shit on a real person. They're not going to let you get into that spin. I'm sorry. Your fantasy just got crushed. You are not going to be able to and throw that kick. Not to me, as I pull out this wedgie. You may be able to do that to somebody who's never seen that shit before, but for most martial artists, we watch y'all train. Y'all watch us train. So understand how that shit works. And it doesn't matter if you have a black belt, because that belt only carries weight in a dojo. Yellow belt, green belt, orange, blue, brown, red, whatever color I just fucking missed, and black. That shit only carries weight in the dojo. Now, for every martial artist on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok that I just pissed off, am I wrong? Am I wrong for telling you the truth that that belt only carries weight in the dojo? Now, you will talk to some people. They will be impressed. We're not going to lie. Hey, I got a black belt. All right, cool, man. Can we spar sometime? You'll never believe it how many motherfuckers quickly say yes because they have a black belt. And then when I showed them some shit that they ain't never been taught in the dojo, like, they didn't teach me that. You know why they didn't teach you that? Because they don't know it. You know what else they didn't teach you? They didn't teach you that your belt only holds rank in your dojo. You can be the top fighter in your dojo and go face the weakest fighter in another dojo and get your ass handed to you by a fucking white belt. Not a secret black belt, a solid to go day one white belt. Because you're cocky and you think that belt is Jesus. Get off that shit. Your dojo, your black belt, that's where that bitch hold rank. Leave it there. When you leave that dojo, yeah, you got a black belt. I'm not saying your skill level sucks. I'm just saying, shit happens. I don't have a belt because I couldn't do katas. I've beaten plenty of people with belts because when I was taught how to first do martial arts, there was no katas in the shit that I was being taught. Freestyle karate had no katas. The kung fu I learned had no katas. They was just teaching, this is how you hit, this is where you hit. This is how you do the most effective hit. Everybody that I went to dojos excelled faster than me. Until sparring time came. But here's that difference maker. I grew up in a fucking bad neighborhood. I knew when I had to go home, I had to walk from downtown back to the projects. I knew that halfway between the projects, there's a church and a shortcut. And I generally take the shortcut because it went by the church. As I go past the church, see a couple of prayers at Pilgrim Baptist Church, I go all the way down that hill, and I don't go to Page Street. I go all the way to where the train track is at, and I keep going to the right. I pass the wreck. I hit 811 E. Hardy Drive. All right? That was my path from downtown when Mr. Ennis and the Inner Stairway was there. They were still there when we moved over here, so I went to school from there. I walked through here. Now here's where the kicker was. There's Garrett Square and there's 6th Street and there's 1st Street. I didn't know none of the motherfuckers from 1st Street, so I didn't walk that way. I walked through Garrett Square, aka Friendship Court, and I walked through 6th Street. And you know why none of those gangster motherfuckers bothered me? Because when I was younger, I got in trouble over there with some of the baddest motherfuckers over there. You'd be amazed at what a rear neck and choke can do to impress people without even having to lift my foot. Which is why I said what I said. And I don't give a fuck if you have a belt and you don't like what I said, and you can come at me in the comments all you want. But go ask yourself, are you nervous when you walk through bad neighborhoods? Because I'm nervous. I don't have a black belt. But are you nervous or are you cocky? Because I'm frightfully nervous. But I also know what the fuck I can do. I also know how people in the ghettos fight. We don't fight fair. Sometimes we get jumped. I've only been jumped on my job. I've never been jumped in any of the ghettos that I live in. Now, when I had that little incident at 1st Street, the guy put in a rear neck and choke, we became friends. Nobody ever fucked with me after that shit. The guys that was from 6th Street was right there when that shit happened. And the guy I put in there was one of the baddest guys on their block. Which went to show them, yo, yeah, I know karate. But more importantly, I know how to fucking fight. Because sometimes Knowing how to fight without lifting your feet can save your ass. So you can have a belt. I appreciate the belt. I do not like the belt system. When I started in Taekwondo, I asked Master Ennis, God rest his soul, if I could fight for my belt. He laughed me right out of there. It's like, nah, man, we don't fight for belts here. We do katas. He seen me struggle with katas. I couldn't get a yellow belt. I couldn't get a first degree white belt. I couldn't get shit. But when we sparred, I was handling shit. And he looked at me and he pulled me off to the side and said, how come you spar so good, but you can't do katas? And I told him, I wasn't taught katas. This is the only school I ever been to where I was taught a fucking kata, where I was taught a form. He said, what were you taught? I was taught how to fucking fight. Period. There was no ice cream scoop, punch, punch. There was none of that shit. There was, this is how you punch. Boom. This is how you block. Boom. Boom. Those are the teachers that taught me what the fuck to do. Instead of sitting here, hum, 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 hum. Cheerio, Kunye. Now, you have a yellow belt. Now, you have a green belt. Now, etc., etc. Oh yeah, now you gotta break a brick. Brah! Now you gotta break a board. Brah! Now you have a black belt. Don't mean shit to me. I didn't take martial arts to get belts in the first fucking place. I took martial arts so that my 5'3" ass could not be beaten by somebody 6'4" and above. So, for me, the bigger you are, the harder I get to hit you. You also have to remember there's quite a few facts in fighting. There's gravity. I'm short. To do damage to me, you got to do one or two things. You got to punch down or you got to kick out. Your long, linky legs is my protection. Know why? Because I'm far enough away that when you try to kick me, if you're not precise, if you fuck up just a hair, I'm going to break your shit. And I don't have to work that hard because you're already feeding me everything I need. You're 6'4", you're feeding me that long leg, boom, I can get in there and get out because I got my speed. You got strength, but do you have durability? Do you have the knowledge of what can happen if I break your fucking leg at the kneecap when you throw that hard ass kick that you think is gonna fuck my shit up? So if I beat your snap, crack, your leg gets broken. Now I got two options after that. I can hold that leg or I can sweep the other leg. I'm sweeping the other leg. Yeah, you got hands and they're gonna be able to reach me. I just broke your fucking leg. What do you think your natural reaction is gonna be? You're gonna reach for that. You're not gonna reach to punch me. You're gonna reach for that pain. Because it's a natural reaction when you set your head on something hot, you snatch it back and you shake the bitch. Or, you burnt yourself. Natural reaction, pay attention to that when you train. Natural reaction, pay attention to that when you see everything in life. Because Kung Fu is not just a martial art, it is a way of life. It is in everything that you do. It is in everything that you touch. It is in everything you eat and everything that you drink. And for every sensei that I just pissed off, I have no fucks to give. Because if you're not teaching people these fucking simple things, you're robbing them of everything that they're paying you for. I'm a small man. Your size don't mean shit to me. I can't outmuscle you. I know how fights work. If you're throwing a power kick, I got two options. Break that bitch or take that bitch. And there's a third option. Don't be there when you swing. Now you're not going to do this. And I'm not going to be Super Saiyan, jump up and land on your leg and stand there and ask you what your problem is. No, because that's not reality. The reality is I got options. You throw one of these hard rounds, I can block it and snap it. Because this right here is going on the inside of the knee. This is going behind the calf. Boom! I done broke your fucking leg. But why did I break your leg? Because you threw that bitch as hard as you could, thinking that that's what I need. Now, I could miss and get fucked up. I know that. So I better make sure my shit's on my P's and Q's. Understand, you are capable of fucking yourself up in a fight by not having your shit together. You can kick me hard enough to break my arm, but at the same time, I could be breaking your leg. After I break your leg, I got one arm down. Because I might not have blocked that bitch right. Or you might have just been too fucking strong. But your leg's broken. Who's in a better position here? I got one broken arm. I still have another. I got two good legs. You can't stand on a broken leg. So you might not be able to defend yourself. You have options now. Hop the fuck away or be stupid. Don't be stupid. Thank y'all for watching. Size don't mean shit. Skill set does. Your fighting experience will always be your best teacher. So I'm going to end it right there, and you take that with you wherever you go. Your fighting experience, wins, lose, draw, whatever. That is what's important, because that's how you learn. If you're going to survive a fight, if you're going to get fucked up, you need to understand how this shit works. You need to understand that that man that's smaller than you is just as dangerous as that man that's shorter than you. Excuse me, taller than you. You got to understand that everyone that you face on the battlefield, regardless of how they look, male or female, is dangerous. And if you don't have that mindset going in that this person can possibly fuck my shit up if I'm not ready, then you will get fucked up. I go in with this attitude everywhere I go. If I got to fight, I got one mission. Survival at all costs. Break everything on their body. Because if I don't break them, they're going to break me. And I'm 5'3.5". We're not settling for that kind of shit. I'm too old and I'm too small to be taking these ass whoopings. But if I can't do it, and I gotta take that ass whooping, then so fucking be it. It's also another reason why you should probably pray before you fight. That being said, I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Instagram, be seeing ya. Well, if I could exit the shit. Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Thank you guys for being here for the 30 minutes that I gave you. I am going to make one more video for this, so there will be a part 2. And it is mostly going to be talking again.